Hi guys, so welcome to another episode of my 8 versus 16-bit challenge. We're on to episode 4. And the fact that we're on to episode 4 I'm super pleased about, because for this challenge to even exist it requires the engagement of those in the community. And so the guys who've been taking part, so that's Steve of Steve's Gaming, Gary of Gary Guild Gaming, Robert of Robert's Retro Gaming, Colin of Ponder's Retro Goodness, and Blue Yak of Blue Yak Retro Computing. The fact those guys have taken part in every episode so far is absolutely great from my perspective, and I really appreciate it. And if anyone else wants to take part too, more than welcome to. To take part, you know what this challenge is really I go through a lot of the 16-bit games of my past that I love and not necessarily love, played, mostly enjoyed, but things that influenced me back in the day. But the fact that I started with a 16-bit machine, the Mega Drive, many of the 8-bit systems passed me by, and so this is then a chance for others who have a passion for 8-bit games to then introduce games that they love, or influence them. That's probably a much better way to put it. Games that influence them, to then suggest that I play them, and with my 16-bit and later hat on, giving a kind of a few thoughts on them, but also trying to put my feet in kind of their shoes in terms of the context of playing those in the mid-80s, for example, as opposed to comparing them to modern games, which is not a fair comparison, obviously. Not saying that the modern games necessarily better, but just graphically, for example, quite a different state of play. All the videos are in a playlist that can be found on my channel. Should be easy enough to navigate and find. So if anyone's seeing this, for the first time, you can see those past videos and all the videos that have been submitted by the people taking part. And so the last game that I submitted, or suggested in episode 3, was Streets of Rage on the Sega Mega Drive, one of the first games I played, and a game that I enjoyed then and still enjoy today, and heavy dose of nostalgia for me with that game, especially things like the music and the graphics and sort of scenes that are created there. But as we see with the guys taking part, things that are very favourable to me, may not necessarily be seen in the same light by others. And what we see with this game in particular actually is with the guys who are probably quite heavily rooted in the kind of 8-bit systems, the likes of Colin and Steve particularly, games like this that started to appear a little bit later and become more refined a little later, towards the sort of late 80s, early 90s. Those guys just less of a fan of that kind of genre. So Steve particularly was like very clear, don't really like beat 'em ups, and in many ways he actually did fine. Almost everyone got to a similar point, which was around the level 2 boss, where this guy has claws a bit like Wolverine, and yeah, they all did fine, but with varying levels of enjoyment. Steve and Colin, maybe okay, not too bad, but probably aren't going to go back to it. Robert said that he's a fan of Double Dragon, which was sort of probably one of the first, is the first kind of beat 'em up in this kind of genre. And then when we get to say Gary and Blue Yak, both those guys probably a bit more versed in later systems, although more Amiga than sort of consoles, I think. And Blue Yak, he enjoyed the game, went back to it after recording his kind of initial impressions for the video, and got further than that level 2 boss where people were getting stuck, and made more progress into the game. So I mean, for me, that's great. That's as much as I can really expect, that someone plays a game that that I might introduce to them, and they'll go and play it again in their own time. And that's what I'm hoping for, kind of with the roles reversed, and others who are kind of fans of 8-bit games, may see other 8-bit games that they're not familiar with, because there's a lot of 8-bit games out there, right? they may find other games that they find interesting, pick them up and play them too. So it's all a bit of sharing of nostalgia, a bit of discovery, and ultimately all just enjoying some old video games, which is what it's all about, right? So with the my 16-bit gameplay, then everyone suggested 8-bit games, and because we had a kind of fighting game, we saw a bit, a higher representation of fighting games then being suggested to me. So we've got a few interesting 8-bit fighters. Again, none of these games I'm particularly knowledgeable of previously or have played before. So it's been a bit of a discovery there for me, and also a bit of a probably more of a sort of, you can see the progress of these games over time, because the sort of evolution of particularly the one-on-one fighter, that genre has become huge, right? Street Fighter 6 is either has been released, the beta's certainly out. I don't know whether the official release is out yet, but that game, that series, from particularly the massive success of Street Fighter 2, has developed into a huge franchise, as well as a number of other huge franchise fighting games. So that's a big part of the market these days, and the games that we'll soon see are those early steps into defining that genre. So yeah, got that coming up, and with that I will pass you on to the first 8-bit game, and then eventually we'll move on to my 16-bit game, and then we'll go around again next time. So yeah, now on to the first 8-bit game. Okay, so we've got our first game here, and that's Sanxion. Not sure how you pronounce it exactly. But yeah, this is a suggestion from Gary of Gary Gill Gaming, and yeah, as you can see here, it's a horizontal shmup of sorts. It's not a traditional one, I would say, because firstly we've got this split screen view, which is not something I've seen particularly, I would say. So the game screen really is the lower screen. That's where the action's happening. We're able to move up and down with the joystick, but the top screen gives us a kind of slightly zoomed out view. You'll see that the screen ratios between the two are different. So the top screen is kind of skinnier and wider, whereas the bottom one we can't see as much. But if you're quick enough, I guess you can look at the top screen and see what's. Oh, that was the end of the first level. I did have a brief play of this, but I hadn't got that far. So. Okay, firstly, nice use of colour here. The other thing with this game is you kind of control the speed of the scrolling by pressing forwards and backs, forwards and backs, forward and back. Is this a bonus stage of some sort? Are these, because you've no longer got the information at the top? It's just scrolling. Yeah, so that was a bonus stage. It was quite nice. I mean, the C64 generally does do pretty smooth scrolling, or it's capable of doing smooth scrolling, and the scrolling is really nice and smooth here. So that's pretty impressive. And yeah, the game looks pretty nice. I quite like the sort of animation of the ship as you go up and down. The sort of twisting of it there gives a nice sense of depth. Let's get it going quick. The game runs along at a fair old lick. The colours, I mean, the bonus stage was quite colourful. I mean, generally the C64, the colours are a little muted, which you can kind of see here, but it's still a pretty nice looking game. These things are bullet sponges. And the scrolling backgrounds are pretty nice as well, I would say. Okay, it's getting a little trickier. It's game over. We'll give it another go. So we got to what, stage 2? Can we use the keyboard for this? No. So it's very much arcade controls. Stick your name in with the joystick. And yeah, we've got the theme tune to the Apprentice done on the other side here. Obviously, this was a long time prior to the Apprentice. That's a joke. I can't even put the name in. I'll try again. There we go. Oh, SOB is in number 2. Cool. Let's give it another go. So yeah, it's a game by Thalamus, and I seem to remember it being a slightly later game. I can't remember the year actually. I can't remember whether it was sort of. I just got caught by that one. Certainly not the easiest of games. It's quite punishing. I mean, the ship's quite big, the enemies are quite big, so it's quite easy to get caught like that. I'm probably supposed to sort of get through the stages maybe slightly more cautiously, but you know, you always want to just fly through them and then get killed. Game over after. Yeah, that was a 10th of the score that we had last time. I don't remember his name as well. That's quite good. Okay. Also, there's no gumph. It seems to go straight into the game. Goes to the score screen. Then go straight into another game. So yeah, no options, no selecting stuff. Oh, I think that's a little harsh. Yeah, the difficulty on this is definitely tricky. As I say, the kind of speed coupled with the zoomed in view. Anyway, look, oh, that is awful. So the first game we had, we scored the most. Let's go one more time. Because it's not a bad game, not a bad game at all. And I imagine if you had this, I guess on release, you'd be far from disappointed. It's obviously kind of an 8-bit home computer. So you know, compared to the arcades, you've got a pretty significant deficit in terms of graphics. Oh, it's really harsh, isn't it? It's really tricky. And yeah, there are probably, you know, without the kind of 2 separate screens, probably games, you know, on the NES, for example, probably look a little better than this. But yeah, as I say, I think you'd be far from disappointed, and as a sort of pick up and play with a kind of quick blast, yeah, you could almost certainly do worse than this. Okay, so that's the first level again. Sorry, no bonus. I don't know how you achieved the bonus. If someone knows, do let me know. But now we've got the bonus stage, and I think what I saw before was that I can't get killed by these bonus. I'm going to call them coins that appear with the S's on. So let's just try and line them up. Try and shoot as much as you can. Yeah, let's try and get a little further on level 2. If we can complete level 2, then I'll be very, very happy. But I'm not holding my breath. Expectation is low at this point. And I assume there's no, you know, bomb or anything like that. I did try holding the fire button down. It didn't seem to do anything in addition to just pressing it. So I'm going to presume, yeah, as I presume there's no bomb, and it's just a case of shoot. These things sucking up my bullets. Oh, bouncing bombs. Oh. game over. That's what we did last time, I think, wasn't it? Yeah, good choice. Good choice. I like it. I can see you enjoying this back in the day. Okay, so our next game is from Steve of Steve's Gaming, and this is Jumping Jack, which by Steve's own admission is certainly not the best looker of a game. You see it's looking pretty basic, and basically we've got these. Can't even be able to count how many platforms we've got across. But the aim here is to. Oh, I should have jumped up that one. Oh, too early. So the aim here, there's only 3 buttons. We've got left and right, and I'm using the keyboard in this case because I think Steve said it doesn't have joystick controls. So you've got left and right where you're running, and admittedly, Jack moves reasonably quickly. And then we've got a jump button, which is why Jack has his name of Jumping Jack. The first thing I notice is that the jumps feel almost like you've got to jump slightly later than you think. But yeah, I'm kind of getting used to it now. This is actually probably as high as I've actually got. I played it a couple of times. But yeah, once you get the timing of the jumps, hey, you got to stop the screen. So that's the first time I've completed a level. So yeah, that was pretty good. Jumping Jack is quick and bold with skill. His story will unfold. Sounds like I'm reading a story to my kids. Oh, so now we've got trains coming across. I mean, why they're trains, I don't know, but yeah, they've generated some sprites. So yeah, we just have to wait for the holes to appear. We've gone too early there. I think you lose. Yeah, you lose a life when you fall back down to the bottom platform. Is what it looks like to me. And yeah, when you get hit, either you jump up and bang your head, or presumably when you get hit by one of the hazards, then yeah, you're stunned for a period of time, and then you can fall down the holes. Okay, oh, we missed a hole. And we timed that badly. Oh, that was a bit lucky. I was jumping just because there was a hole coming one way. Oh, we jumped up the hole and fell down one, and we got hit by a train. So getting hit by a train doesn't kill you, but falling down to the bottom level does. Yeah, not much I can do with that. Holes coming in both directions. Same there. And the train, and then we're dead. Oh. Yeah, I mean, Steve was saying that the gameplay is decent. I mean, the gameplay is absolutely fine. It does play alright, but it is obviously basic. There is only 3 buttons. Oh, we fell down the hole. We jumped up. So yeah, it's a question of how much you want to kind of engage with the game with this mechanic. Now we're going to fall down there, and we're going to fall back down. We're dead again. So yeah, I found it a little bit annoying that it does seem to put you into situations that you effectively can't get out of. Oh, we're too early. Yeah, see, it looks like he can jump through. There, we got the top level. Oh, pretty good. Yeah, it seems like he can jump through the trailing part of the platform, but you're banging your head on the front part. So the timing doesn't feel 100% to me. And I'm playing on Mister here on a CRT monitor, so it's definitely not a lag issue. And if it was a lag issue, I'd probably be having the reverse effect, right? You'd be hitting the trailing part of the platform. I mean, in the absence of a hole, there's literally nothing you can do. So, and then we fell down the hole that we'd just jumped up. And because it's the bottom platform, we lose a life, presumably. We have got to level 3, which actually on a first play is probably further than I was expecting. What do I think of the game? The graphics are so annoying. Oh, and if you miss the first platform, you lose a life. So that mechanic's a little bit annoying. I'll just keep playing while I'm kind of wrapping up. Yeah, the graphics are obviously basic. You know, there's no denying that. The gameplay is okay. As I say, it does feel like it's slightly behind. The colour clash here is, you know, it's the Spectrum, I guess. But yeah, it's less than ideal. But you know, that's wrapping into the graphics. Let's talk more about the gameplay. Yeah, when you do get it and you can get in a run, it is quite satisfying. I'll give it that. Oh, early again. Yeah, if you can go up a number of levels and make your way up the platforms quickly, yeah, that does feel quite good. Do I have really any desire to play this in 2022? Not really. So it's oh, and then we're gonna get stuck in the middle. Yeah, for me, it's more of a sort of middle of the road choice. It's not truly awful. It's not broken. Oh, too early again. Yeah, it's going to annoy me that what looks like a jump, I'm missing with high frequency. So yeah, all right. Not my favourite. Sorry not to be more positive, Steve. But I certainly don't have the love of the Spectrum that you do. So yeah, on to the next game. Okay, so next up is a choice from Colin, and we're back on the C64, and this time it's Bruce Lee. So this is a game that I think appeared on a number of the 8-bit home computers. It's not actually a game I know much about at all. I have heard of it, and I've probably seen someone play it on a stream, but it's not one that, you know, particularly sticks in my mind in terms of having seen it. We'll hit the fire button on the joystick to get going. So yeah, this is released in 1984 by Datasoft, as we see at the top there. We've got a few things to control how the game goes. So 1 or 2 players. So it's nice you can play 2 players. We'll be playing 1. F5 computer opponent, or can you do it? Alright. I'm not sure what computer versus opponent means, because surely the computer is your opponent, or maybe it's a co-op of some sort. But yeah, we'll hit F7. We see a nice. Also, we hear a nice little tune, kind of playing in the background. Certainly got sort of. That's quite nice. Yeah, the sound of you know what you might have expected from, I guess, the West getting exposed to. TV shows and films coming out of Asia. So let's press F7 to get started. So yeah, the first thing. So Colin gave a good sort of intro in terms of how to play this game. The first thing that's quite noticeable here is actually the speed that it plays at. It moves pretty quickly. You've only got one attack button, so you've got up to jump. So there we go. Those 2 enemies seem to appear on each stage, and they do respawn. Okay, so kick the green guy. There we go. Punch that guy. And yeah, we have to collect each of these lamps. So I'm going to go down, and yeah, because it's up to jump, it's, you know, up into the corners. See, so that the timing of that running kick is quite important. If you do it too late, you kind of fly past them. Oh, I think I probably have to just jump and go up here. Go over the top. Oh, this guy's getting some kicks on me. There we go, got him. So we see these kind of black walls there. We can't run through those, but I think we can go over the roof here. Yeah, so is now the kind of edge of the top level, because we see on the roof there's this kind of what looks like a statue of some sort. Which we can't get past, and there's black walls on all the rest of the exits. So we'll pick up the lamps. I think we're going to have to go down and fight this guy. Oh, we must have taken too many hits and died. We see we've got this falls counter at the top there. That's presumably our lives, because that was 4 and it's now 3. And yeah, from seeing Colin play, you know, we've got all those lamps, and now the door's opened down here. So now I've gone on to the next section. Oh, the bastard. Cool. Killed them. Oh, we got caught by the things flying through between the levels there. This is definitely one we need to time well. We did okay. Now it puts up the level, and we get to continue. So, okay, we just dropped down there. I think we can climb up there if we needed to, and yeah, we can climb up. We can climb up here. Can we just keep going up? No. I can't go down. Can I just drop? Okay, so those spikes in the ceiling. Once you're between them, with the fact that this keeps going up, you can't actually get down, which means as soon as you're up that high, you're dead. No, and we're dead again. That's a bit annoying. So you can't climb at an angle. So what we're going to do? That way, and that opens up. And presumably the same thing. Let's just run away from these guys. Oh, they can chase me. Is he going to climb up all the way? Oh, I caught the spike. Oh, that's really annoying. I'm not going to play again because those first sections are a bit slow and it's quite repetitive. Yeah, the game's definitely decent. I like the speed of it. I think it looks pretty good. You're quite zoomed out. Sometimes these kinds of games, the sprites are quite big and blocky. Although the sprites are simple and small, actually works pretty well, and actually means you can have kind of quite big levels on the screen, which is quite nice. The controls obviously probably just really need getting used to. There's a little bit of kind of clunk and not 100% sort of intuitive there. You have to there's a bit of trial and error required to work out, okay, well, why did I die there, or what do I need to do in these sections? Which is okay, which is fine. I don't have major issues with it. But it can be a little bit frustrating. Is this a demo? Because yeah, that's the demo. Because you saw what the guy was doing, was just jumping into the side of the screen. Yeah, bit strange there. yeah, yeah, I enjoyed this. Not one I would probably return to. I might be intrigued to try it maybe on other systems. I think it came out on other systems. Be interesting to hear what the best version is considered as on the various machines it did appear on. And you know, something I could always return to at some point. So yeah, cool. Yeah, good choice. Not blown me away. Again, not terrible, not amazing, but fine. Certainly, enjoyment can be had there. So yeah, let's now move on to our next game. Okay, so next up is a game from Robert of Robert's Retro Gaming, and unsurprisingly, we're back on the Atari 800, and here we've got Karateka. So yeah, 1985, I think, on the Atari. Originally came out on the Apple II, I think, in 1984, and then was ported to the Atari and a few other systems. So yeah, here, high atop a craggy cliff, guarded by an army of fierce warriors, stands the fortress of the evil warlord Akuma. Is that the same Akuma from Street Fighter, I wonder? Deep in the darkest dungeon of the castle, Akuma gloats over his lovely captive, the Princess Mariko. You are one trained in the way of karate, a karateka. Alone and unarmed, you must defeat Akuma and rescue the beautiful Mariko. Put fear and self-concern behind you. Focus your will on your objective, accepting death as a possibility. This is the way of the karateka. Also, capital letters are not the way of the karateka. If I press... Okay, I've not pressed anything, it's just gone into kind of cutscene. Which is quite nice. I like... I saw this on Robert's... Robert's highlighting of this game, and these sort of little cutscenes I think are pretty good. You can kind of... You get a feel for what's going on, despite the kind of low resolution. So yeah, she's in the cell, upset. Okay, so is it? Ah, that's not me playing. Okay, so that was the intro video. We've pressed A button. Okay, so this is the game now playing. So we've got fairly complex controls, and the keyboard's being used, to take advantage of the fact that we can do quite a number of different moves. So we've got move forwards and move back, and then we've got high punch, medium punch, and low punch. So I mentioned Street Fighter earlier. So yeah, maybe that game not only ripped off Akuma as a bad guy, the high, medium, and low punch, and high, medium, low kick it uses as well. Space takes us from kind of fighting mode into standing mode, and so when we can run forwards. Okay. So that's the bad guy. So he's sent off another minion to come and fight us. So presumably this is the second level. See if we can hit this guy's ass. The mid kick seems to have the most range. So that's the low kick. Yeah, I don't know if the punches. The guy punched me, and but yeah, it's kind of slow, but it's not too bad. You've got to be kind of, I guess, treat it in such a way that it's you're being kind of deliberate with it. So it's not like an an action fighter, more of a sort of puzzle fighter, or guessing what the enemy's going to do. Okay, so we've got another guy coming. We'll just sort of shuffle forwards. This guy's running at us. Give him the kicks. And the animation's pretty nice too. Albeit, happening a second after you press the button. So you're kind of lining up moves before anything's happened. But that's okay. I can deal with that. And actually, if the presentation, we got another guy, another goon. If the presentation was not as good, then I'd be more critical of the gameplay. But actually, I really like the presentation. And we saw at the beginning, it's another Broderbund game. It seems like they were able to put out decent games on multiple systems. That was Raid on Bungling Bay that we had in I guess it was episode 2, but the first one where I was playing 8-bit games. Oh, one more game. Take this guy out. Yeah, punch you in the head. This guy's like a stormtrooper. Look at that helmet. Well, he's far more accurate than the stormtrooper. Although at this point, I'm mostly just holding down the mid kick button and doing alright with that. There we go. Another one. No, don't just... Oh! That's a bit annoying. So you have to... No, hopefully... Have we gone back to the first level? Yeah, I think you kind of have to stop moving before you can go out of the kind of running animation. Because I was definitely pressing buttons. I hadn't had pressed the space button yet. We ran into a kick to the face, which is an instant death, it seems. I suspect this might be back at the beginning because this guy is just letting me kick him. Yeah, so this is back to the beginning of the game. Do I want to fight all 5 of those guys again? Let's give them a go. And we'll see. Because if that was the last guy, then we'll. Can I just press space? Okay, so you can just press space, and it will go out of. Okay. We try a few punches, see how punch does. Yeah, I mean it seems that kicks are quite a bit more effective than punches. So unless they're like right up in your grill, it seems that kicking is the way forwards. Yeah, back to the slow-mo fighting, holding down the button, waiting for the attack to come. I think because there's a bit of story element, it makes you want to keep playing and see what's coming, even though I'm guessing the story is maybe not the most detailed, put it that way. can't really get... If you keep kicking, you can't get that close. You can almost do kind of little combos. It's almost like two or three kicks you can get off in a short sequence. Here's the stormtrooper back in. Give it a little kick. You can kind of see the basics kind of forming of a one-on-one fighter that obviously evolved throughout the 80s, where, you know, once Street Fighter 2 appeared, you know, that game went crazy, right? It was one of the most popular games of the time, and 1v1 fighters have been a pretty significant genre since then. Hey, you got that. What? Hopefully, is this one more guy? But he's got quite a lot of health. We might struggle. But at least we didn't just run into him and get kicked in the face. So that's progress. Cool. You can do those little combos. So when you connect, you can get a... No, not more. Or else getting a bit low. Run. More! I wonder if they'll just keep spawning and you've got to kind of sprint across the screen after you kill each one. Yeah, I'm definitely making decent progress with the combination of mid and high. Oh, he's pushing me back. Let's run. Oh, is this like a boss of some sort, or a... Yeah, so I wonder whether it is you've got to make progress across the screen. Let's at least try and do this one. But yeah, there's kind of a mix of sort of preempting and reacting to what they're doing. So just sort of timing it right, the point at which they make a move. Oh, not another one. I wonder if I'd been quicker there, whether I would have been able to get out. If that is the case, it's a bit of a shitty mechanic, to be honest, because the transition from kind of attacking mode to the sort of running mode is a little clunky. Yeah, it is, isn't it? They're just going to keep spawning until. And as I say, I tried to get into the running mode, but if you're attacking or moving, it won't go into that running mode, or it doesn't seem to want to super easily. We just have to now fight this guy off screen where we can't actually see him, so can't properly sort of like preempt the moves. We're literally just spamming the buttons. There we go. There we go. Finally. What are we going to get now? Another little cutscene. Okay, so we're now. Oh no, we've just run into a punch. Yeah, that's kind of annoying, isn't it? So yeah, there's definitely kind of things to like about this game. It's like the seeds of subsequent games are being sown. So yeah, I mean this has to be a sort of somewhat genre defining game. I would say that's probably influenced a number of subsequent games. So its significance, I'm guessing, is high. And yeah, I like it. I like what I like particularly is the presentation. I would say I think it's presented really nicely. The game mechanic is fine. You know, you would like it to be more responsive or faster, but at the same time you have to respect the nature of the hardware that it's running on. If they had, you know, 16-bit and further on machines, no doubt the game could have been a bit more fast-paced and responsive in terms of the moves. But for what's there for the time, given that there weren't a lot of games like this prior to it, yeah, I expect you would have enjoyed it. So yeah, as a piece of history, I think this is a really nice one to come up and for me to play. So yeah, with that, let's go on to our last game. Okay, so our last game is Samurai Warrior, and we've got another sort of fighting game of sorts. The guys have sort of followed the theme of Streets of Rage, which is quite cool. So yeah, this is Samurai Warrior, the battles of Usagi Yojimbo, which kind of reading. So yeah, I've got F1 for game and practice, F3 for joystick, that's fine, F7 to start. Yeah, so Usagi Yojimbo is there's I think graphic novels of this kind of rabbit kind of samurai warrior type character. So this is a kind of side-scrolling sort of action fighter. We've got some different moves we can do. Blue Yak was kind of showing us. Trying to remember how to pull our weapon. Ah, yeah, okay. So if you press the fire button and then press up, you pull out your sword. A tap sort of is the guard or defense. If you hold it a bit longer, if you hold it medium amount of time, you do that swipe. If you hold it down, you then do a vertical swipe. So it's a bit like Soul Calibur, but 8-bit. And then to put it back, it's like you're putting the sword in, so you kind of pull back and left and press fire, and you sort of sheath the sword, which is yeah, it's quite a nice mechanic. The other thing is so you can run when you've got the sword out. But if you as you walk along, you meet both kind of normal peasants. So we offered that guy some money, but if we pull the sword out in front of him, he'll be, you know, you will have shamed yourself, and you basically commit harikari and kill yourself. So we can see the ninja in the so we've dispatched him. Let's... Oh, and there's another one. There we go. I just run off. Bastard, come here. Come here, you fucker. Ah. There we go, got him. Let's put our sword away. You don't want to run around with your sword out. Okay, so we've got a guy in the tree. Okay, he ran past us and we stabbed him in the back. Nice. The fighting mechanic is okay. I assume this is a... Oh, let's bow. Oh, I don't think I bowed in time. Oh, I definitely bowed there. Maybe I was slightly too low. Let's bow to the... what is that? I mean, yeah, what is that? Like, should I kill it? I mean, I want to kill it. Okay, good. Managed to at least get some way without dying. Because yeah, Blue Yak certainly... Is that like 2 paths? Oh, it is 2 paths. Oh, that's cool. Okay, bow with that guy. Your true self has nowhere to hide. Very good. And yeah, so when we bow, we karma goes up there. So we've got 52 karma. Thank you, noble samurai. Have some of my money. It's a hard life to be a peasant. Okay, we've got to jump. I think we need to get your sword out. How are we going to jump? Up to jump, isn't it? So run, jump. Hey, we didn't fall down the hole. And let's put our sword away. Yeah, little bow to old pig guy there. But yeah, I mean, given there's only one fire button, they've managed to kind of fit in quite a few controls. But it does mean you've got to kind of remember the different commands. So run. Oh, we just up jumped, and then jump. Hey, and we'll put our sword away. Graphically, I think this looks really nice. Oh, that was a bad guy. He looks just like the guy who was who bowed to us a second ago. Oh, good. We can put our name in with the keyboard. Yeah, cool little game. I mean, this also was quite a late. Oh, okay. And also, if we start again, we've continued from where we were before. We've got 25 karma. If you meet the Buddha on the road, kill him. Ah, okay. So is that guy giving me a heads up that? Thank you, noble samurai. Yeah. So I was saying graphically, it's pretty nice. I mean, there is a fair bit of brown, but that's okay. I mean, it's the C64, so it's got to be brown. So what do we need to do to get our weapon out? Okay, fire button up, run, jump, and then let's resheath. This guy's. Yeah, so... There, we got him. And we chopped his head off. That was quite cool. So yeah, he initially walks past you, and then when you see him again, how he's got that side of you again, I don't know. But when you see him again, he attacks you. So yeah, it's quite cool. I like it. It's a nice, interesting dynamic. But yeah, so this was a late release, so 1988. So getting towards the end of the sort of proper life of the C64, getting towards the tail end. The Amiga was coming out around this time. There we go. Let's go run and jump. No, we fell down the hole. So yeah, you do have to. And now we're back at the absolute beginning. Let's get our sword out and just see him commit suicide after this Ah, my soul is empty. I must atone for my shame. Ah. Dead. Nice. Yeah, cool little game. Presentation is pretty nice. Looks good. The fighting's slightly clunky, and that's probably something I could say for this and the previous. Probably less so for Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee's slightly clunky, but less clunky than this. So yeah, nice little tune we can hear in the background as well. You know, looks good. Fun game. Not one I'm probably going to spend much time with. But hopefully some of the guys who, you know, have nostalgia for the C64 and have not played this, it'd probably be a good experience for them. So yeah, so this is the final game. Had the same five guys take part every single challenge, which is absolutely great. Really appreciate that. In terms of the games we've had, we had Sanxion from Gary. We had Jumping Jack from Steve. From Colin we had Bruce Lee. We had Karateka from Robert, and now we've got Samurai Warrior from Blue Yak. 5 pretty decent games, I would say. If I was going to say what was the worst game, unfortunately, Steve, I'm probably going to go Jumping Jack. It's okay, and its simplicity is both its strength and its downfall, right? You know, if you like that and you really engage with it, yeah, it's fine. But I mean, how much depth is there really going to be there? And it's also where this game and Karateka, for example, the presentation actually is the kind of differentiator there. The game mechanic here is probably a little bit more frustrating in some ways, but you've got a little bit of story going on. You've got interaction between people. In this case, you know, some text of what people are saying. With Karateka, you've got the little cutscenes there. I did really like that, as I think really added to the game and helped you kind of overlook limitations in other areas. In terms of games that I could go back to, probably Bruce Lee or maybe Sanxion. Sanxion, I mean, as a shooter for the year was probably fine. These days, actually, there's loads of arcade-style shooters I could go to and probably have a better time with. So I'm going to give my favourite game of this set probably to Bruce Lee, because I could imagine going back to that, and I could imagine trying it maybe on a different system as well. As I say, if people want to kind of mention other systems that there are decent versions of that on, I'll happily take a look. So yeah, decent set of fire games. As I say, nothing terrible, but no super standouts either. So yeah, with that, let's move on to my 16-bit choice for the guys to play in hopefully the next episodes. Okay, so my next 16-bit game is on the Mega Drive again, and as we'll see here, it is Jurassic Park. So this is a game I got pretty early in my time with the Mega Drive. The exact chronology of these things is always tricky to remember. But this game came out in 1993. I probably got it in 1994. As a child, I loved dinosaurs and was super excited for the Jurassic Park, the Jurassic Park film to come out. And so, you know, the licensed game was just something I, wanted to play, not knowing what constituted a good game. These sections I think are pretty good, and we saw the T-Rex at the beginning of the game going Sega. I think that's a pretty nice touch. So yeah, the Rex has demolished your car, the electric fence is down, the dinosaurs are loose on the island. Make your way through the jungle to the power station. So it's trying to follow, the sequence of events that happen in the film. So do we press a button? There we go. Start gets us going. So there's the car discarded, and you kind of come to. We've got a couple of weapons here that we can go pick up. The A button is change weapon. This is the first enemy here. This is a Triceratops. This guy's a bit annoying, but just grenade him and he dies. You see he's not completely dead, he's still breathing there, because you don't really want to be killing Triceratops. The C button is jump, and B is shoot. The game moves reasonably quickly. You can jump quite far, as you see there. We can drop down there. Some dinosaurs just spawn like that, so these are the little the compies. The game's probably not like killing the enemies is not the most difficult part. Oh, that guy respawned as well, bastard. Yeah, getting killed by the enemies is probably not going to be the major source of death. It's probably going to be the environmental hazards. Yeah, there are places where you can fall to your death, or you can get crushed, things of that sort. There, we fell too far and we died, and so we see we're back at the back at the beginning of the game. The Triceratops is back, and all the other enemies will be back too. You see, if you don't deal with him quite quickly, he will fuck you up. So let's go again. We can jump that gap, and we can go get down and get the health. Just ignore the. We'll get the ammo, because there's not crazy amounts of ammo to be had in this. Up there, get the health. See, we can't go above that that kind of max health. So those 3 bars are the kind of 3 lives that you've got in the game. But if we just drop down there, it's fine. But when you're kind of falling down and you jump, you can jump off of that slide. Which, yeah, if you fall too far, then you do die. It's kind of hard to see, but if you jump, there's these ropes here. We're actually just going to drop down there, because then you can pick up some grenades there. There's another jump here, and we can jump over here, and there's a compy and a couple of items. The standard darts are the blue ones, the red ones are then powered up ones. But at the moment the enemies are pretty weak, so that guy takes, I think, 2 hits. They look like he took more, but usually they take 2. I think it's just one of the red ones. There's lots of kind of verticality in the game, lots of just falling, or not knowing where you're supposed to be going and just dropping down hoping for the best. So here's an environmental hazard that can kill you. Is the rocks falling there. Don't think I can get up there. Ah! No! Beaten up by a Triceratops. The changing weapon is a little bit tricky here. I've got I've got 2 different types of grenade. Presuming that's like a powered up grenade. Brachiosaurus's head there. I think that might be what we need to do next. Oh, we just fell to our death. And we're back at the beginning of the level. So yeah, a bit of a brutal. I killed that guy. Yeah, a bit of a brutal difficulty curve in terms of you die late in the stage and you're all the way back at the beginning, which I think is a bit harsh. But I remember really enjoying this game. The first time I played it, I was kind of blown away. It's very different to anything I played before. The games I played up until this point were, the games we've seen, right? So Mega Games 1, Sonic the Hedgehog, The closest, I guess, was probably Shinobi, Revenge of Shinobi, in the Mega Games 2 pack. But I really didn't get on with that game. Firstly, it's really, really difficult, which is one of the reasons we've not had Shinobi yet, put it that way. Whereas this, actually, the general mechanics are pretty okay. And it becomes about learning the levels, and so this is what I remember doing is learning each of the stages, learning where to go. And I did end up I didn't quite complete the game, but I did get to the final boss, because the final boss is almost not a boss. I won't give away any spoilers, but you basically just do something really simple and then you complete it, and you kind of need to know what you need to do. And as a small child, I didn't really know what I needed to do. So let's jump down. Okay, we've got. So yeah, you can jump over the Triceratops, which is often not a bad ploy. So let's use the upgraded. No, I don't want to fall down. And we fell to our death again, and that's game over. Harder than I remember. So, as I say, I was able to. I do remember being able to kind of complete that game. So, yeah, if you, and as I mentioned as well, environmental hazards likely to kill you, more frequently than the enemies themselves. But yeah, a game that I have fond memories of, and really haven't played since 1995 or something like that. So yeah, hopefully you guys will get on well with it. I think it probably has some of the sensibilities of some 8-bit games, and shooting dinosaurs. You can't beat that, can you? So yeah, that wraps up episode 4. If you're still watching at this point, thank you very much for still watching. I guess however long this video is, 45 minutes, an hour. For next time, I look forward to seeing the various 8-bit games suggested to me. As always, if anyone else wants to take part, you're more than welcome. But yeah, really appreciate the guys who have become regulars in this feature now. So yeah, you stay safe, and I will catch you guys soon.